It's an honor to be here with you. Namaste.
Yes, it is a great privilege for me because I have gone through your profile. So, what an extraordinary and incredible achievements you have achieved so far in your career.
I've done many, many crazy, wonderful things, and it's all been just an adventure, is the best way to say it.
Yes. So, obtaining success in teaching field is not the something that is common for all teachers. Only extraordinary teachers achieve those landmarks. So, you are one among them. Could you please tell us about yourself and about your achievements so that we will proceed with the question and answers?
Certainly. Um, This is my 28th year in education. And in 2013, I was recognized as the Kansas Teacher of the Year, which is in my region, my state, the province area. They choose one teacher in the entire region to be selected as the top teacher. I was selected as that person. And I taught middle school English at the time and absolutely loved it. It was students who were aged 14, 13 and 14 years of age. And at that point, that kind of set me on another adventure where I traveled across the country a great deal, working with teachers, people in college who wanted to be teachers. And I also launched several global projects at that time. And then in 2015, I was recognized by Dolly Parton to be a Chasing Rainbows educator. Pretty wild adventure. Had a chance to meet Dolly Parton, and that was wonderful. She's everything anybody would imagine she would be. So that was exciting. Then in 2019, I was inducted into the National Teachers Hall of Fame. So in that work, a lot of it had to do with a lot of the global projects that I'm involved in. And I do many, many, many teacher professional development pieces around technology in the classroom. So that's kind of my story.
So thank you so much, Mrs. Smoke, for your introduction. And as per my knowledge, I think there is no other achievement that a teacher from America could achieve better than what you have achieved so far.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
It it is the very best job in the whole wide world to be an educator.
yes, absolutely. And
Hello.
My name is Nandikishore, a 10th grade student from JPC Salvaram.
Nice to
Here
meet
my
you.
question is, here my question is, how do you measure success in a classroom that prioritizes innovation and student-led learning?
I believe that students need to have what we call agency, meaning that I might present a challenge for you, such as uh, what do you think are the biggest conversations that are happening in your community around literacy? Or what are things that you as young people are wondering about climate? Or perhaps what are things that are going on in social justice? I would listen very carefully and take notes of all of your thoughts. And then I might put a challenge out for you to say, I'm going to give you some choices. Perhaps you'll have a chance to make a video. Perhaps you can create a skit, something, a public performance for your community. Perhaps you'd like to write a poem, or you would like to do a series of art pieces to explain what you are thinking, what you're trying to tell the world. In that, you would pitch back to me. You would ask me, Mrs. Smoke, this is what I would like to do. And my job would be to help you find success through that. So if you asked me, I'd like to make a film, I would ask you back, what skills, what help, support do you need to make that dream a reality? And it would be my job to pull all those pieces together so that you find success.
yeah,
When
thank
students have agency, the ability to say, this is what I want to do. This is how I'm going to prove what I know is, what understanding, what have I figured out? What do I want to say? And this is how I want to do it. Then you own your learning, meaning that you're the person who sees this goal and you're going to reach it. Those around you are there to support you to get there. When students have that agency, that's when they change the world.
Yes, absolutely. I do.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
My name is Farhad. I am a ninth grader from JPT School 11. I would like to ask a question. Can I ask, ma'am?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
What advice would you give to educators trying to introduce project-based learning in school with limited resources?
That is an excellent question, Farhad. Thank you. I would say you don't need a great deal of resources to do project-based learning. What you need is people who have a vision, who have a reason to address an issue, a global issue, or it could be an issue in your own community. The students here in our schools, they are working on a small piece of land that is it's just vacant. There's nothing there but some weeds. But they are considering food insecurity in our community. So many of our people still don't have the food resources that they need. So these 14, 15-year-old students see this plot of land as an opportunity to help support their community. So they have a vision to grow a community garden to support the local food bank where families can go get food if they don't have any money. So in that opportunity for teachers, if they would ask me, how do you do project-based learning? I would say, listen to your students, see what their passions are. I have to know that these students know how to read, they have to write, they have to do public speaking in my language arts class. I just choose these projects for them to show their knowledge in those spaces. So in this area for the food, the students are going to need to do marketing. They're going to have to get resources from local gardens, local farmers. They're going to need to get seeds. They need to get plants boxes built, all kinds of things. Well, in that sense, they're going to have to go to businesses and say, this is who we are. This is the vision that we have. Here's our drawings of what we want to do. Here's some renderings from AI that we've put together. This is the goal that we have. And they will pitch their idea or they'll go to these companies and say, we need your help. That's the exact same skills that they are going to do in my language arts class, but now we're going to the community to practice those skills. They are starting to pull those resources together. They're just in the beginning stages of this project. But what's interesting is as the students are starting to build images of what they want to do, they're getting to build slogans, they're writing letters. All of that is exactly what I'm going to cover in my class. And then other classes, other teachers, other communities, they start to build into this great support system so that the student's vision can become a reality. So I would say the best advice to an educator is to, again, listen to your students, dream big, because anything is possible. And lastly, get out of students' way. Let them let them shine. You're there to support. And if things fail, you're going to have problems. That's part of it. But we're going to stop and celebrate that failure. Wind came through, perhaps, just guessing, too much rain, something's going to happen that might set their project off course. What did we learn? What are we going to do differently the next time? How are we going to work with our community partners to get back on track. All of those are life skills, but that's how I would do it.
Yes, thank you so.
Hello.
I am Husnia and I'm ninth grader. It's my pleasure to meet you, ma'am. Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely, and the pleasure is mine.
As a former classroom teacher and now a district leader, how do you bridge the gap between classroom needs and administrative decisions?
Excellent question. I believe that our teachers are the most important people in a school. They are the ones who are working with students every day. They are the stars in our projects, right? My job is to help them help their students. So I still very much keep the heart of a teacher. And this project where the students are going to be building the garden, it's not my project, it's those teachers and students' project. My job really hasn't changed greatly, except that I'm helping the teachers continue to support the students. So, in balancing all of that, I am there to be a coach, a guide, so that those teachers feel more confident to do these kinds of projects. It's not, those kinds of projects are not something we teach in college and university for teachers to be able to support. So it takes other people who've done them in order to support the teachers to shift how they create classroom experiences. So, in this sense, some of these teachers are going to need training on things like how do I build video to document the learning of the students. Well, that's where I would come in to say, let me show you how to do this. And oh, hey, your students could actually build this for you, but let's do it together. Those teachers may also need training around how to build a website so that the project can be shared and more community people get involved. It would be my job to help them build that website.
Okay.
Hello, ma'am. How are you?
I am well. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, ma'am. Thank you. This is Dikshit, the 10th grader from ZPHS Alavaram. It's my pleasure to ask you a question. Can I, ma'am?
Absolutely.
What inspired you to start global collaboration projects like virtual valentines and awesome squiggles? And what impact have you seen on students?
These are my favorite things to do. It's interesting. I have always loved to be connected globally, always. When I was 18 years of age, I had the opportunity to travel to New Zealand and Australia and fell in love with the idea of travel and getting to experience different cultures around the world. That fascination, the passion that I had around that, and the more digital skills that I had gained, I figured how I could pull these two things together. So when it comes to the virtual Valentines, I actually created that with another Global Teacher Prize finalist, Michael Soskell. And he and I had started 3 or 4 projects about that time. We've run Virtual Valentines since 2014. And the idea was, could we create an opportunity for classrooms around the world to connect, get to build friendships, as well as do research? In that project, you're required to research your partner classroom's community and build some questions. Go online. It's like, oh, you have mountains near you, or oh, it looks like you're not too far from the ocean, wherever that may be. Tell us more about where you're from. And your class would investigate in my community and say, oh, well, you don't have any water near you. Where I live is very central, very middle of the United States. So it's 10 hours to get to the beach. So you might ask, you know, do you have tornadoes? Yes, we have tornadoes where I live and things. And you would get to know one another. We believe, Michael and I both, we've been friends for a very long time. We both believe that adults struggle with communication around the world. countries struggle with diplomacy, they struggle with friendship. And we believe that if young people build those friendships at a young age and understand that things around the world are really not that much different from right where you live. We all have poverty. We all have food insecurities. We all have people who want to do great things for the world. And we have creative, beautiful people everywhere. When we see those things together as young people, as you age, the hope is you would see the world differently as an adult compared to what the world has to deal with today. And when it came to the Awesome Squiggles project, that was designed so that language would not be a barrier. If I put 4 lines on a website and ask classrooms to print those lines off and create artwork, there's no worry about age, ability, language, none of that. It's just what do you see? Create that, and I'll share with you what I see. And then we can have a conversation around that. To me, it's about connections so that we can build a better world.
Yes, thank you so much. And how many
Thank you very much.
countries you have brought together in under this project?
Oh, that's an excellent question. Um, Awesome Squiggles we've done since 2015. And
Mhm.
I want to say we've reached around the globe between both of those projects over 50,000 students.
Wow, amazing. Mm,
Mm.
yes.
Hello.
My name is Gaz Halil. I am studying 7th grade. Can I ask one question, ma'am?
Absolutely.
How do you ensure that technology enhances student creativity rather than just automating tasks?
Comes to technology, I believe those are best used when it allows you as a student to be creative. Often in many schools around the world, technology can be used to help things like build math skills, be used to help build literacy skills. You read a little passage, take a test, and then it will adapt as your skills. If you need more challenging questions, the questions get harder. If you need easier ones, it adapts. And I believe that's okay. I think there's a need for it, but the true best use of technology, and hear me clearly, the best use of technology is to make the impossible possible.
Okay.
What I mean by that is it's truly impossible for us to be in 2 places at the same time. And many of you are dialing in from different communities. We can all be here together with technology. That's impossible to do physically, but with technology, it's possible. It is possible to do something like a Zoom call with 4 or 5 countries of classrooms at the same time, have translation showing up in closed captioning so that every one of us understands what the other community is saying. That's the impossible being possible. When I, as a teacher, need to brainstorm and get ideas, I can do that on my own, but I only can go so fast. With I can bounce ideas with AI very quickly and take my initial idea and make it something wonderful. What I love about AI mostly is that if you take a truly creative person like yourselves who has a vision, I want to do something big for the world, and these are the wishes that I have to make a big impact. If you take a very creative person who's already been dreaming things up and you add AI with that, you're taking this person's creativity and amplifying it so that it becomes, you know, at another level that no one could imagine. AI cannot do it anything by itself. It has to have a partner. But if you have the most creative people using this tool, you can be doing incredible, incredible things in creative ways.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Smoke. Mrs. Smoke, I have a few questions. If you permit me, I would like to ask you. Uh,
Absolutely.
so you have been into the education for a long time.
Mm.
So you have equally achieved many milestones. What kind of advice you would like to give to the young educators that are coming into this particular field of education? Because today generation is different from our generation. In fact,
Yes.
when we started going to school, we didn't have the Wi-Fi, internet, and even computers, especially in my case. But today, if they have the current generation of teachers, they have the most powerful weapon, that is AI is with their hands. So
Indeed.
they can do anything. They can create any wonder, really many wonders actually. So what kind of advice or suggestions you would like to offer to this upcoming generation of teachers?
I would say you are at the most amazing time in education that we've ever had. There are more opportunities for changing children's lives in positive ways than there ever were before. Since the beginning of time, education's goal is to inform and support young people so that as they experience the world, they can make the most well-informed decisions, they can leave a positive impact on their community, and that they would not be taken advantage of. The more you know, the more you have opportunities to use that information. Today, with the resources available to educators, as long as you have a connection to the internet, you can talk to anyone around the world who you want to connect with. Now, that may not mean you talk to a celebrity, but if you are doing a garden project, you can dial in and talk with someone like Stephen Ritz, who was a Global Teacher Prize finalist. His students completely changed the entire city with gardening. And I can connect with them in a virtual conversation to learn what did they learn and what would advice they would give us. Also, if students struggle with reading, they have all of these digital tools, such as closed captioning, that as a teacher, could be talking and you can turn closed captioning right on here in Zoom, and it will translate everything that I am saying into your preferred language. There are visuals to explain things that we didn't have before there was the internet. I can go into AI and say a vocabulary word that my students are struggling with might be democracy. Well, there's not a noun, easily concrete word to represent democracy. It is an idea. So, how do I create that visually so that my students understand? Well, I can use AI to help me with that. There are the least amount of barriers to reaching every child than we've ever had in the history of the world. And I would tell you that jumping into education at this point in life, in the world itself in 2025, is the most exciting ever. And there are unlimited possibilities of encouragement, fun, and yes, fun should be in education, and joy to be found.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Smoke. And here is one more question. What kind of qualities you recommend the present generation teachers should have to cope up with the needs, to cater the needs of much growing needs of the students of this 21st century?
Yes, I would say the number one thing a young educator needs is creativity. You need to be able to look at a situation. Maybe it's a student who's struggling, or maybe it is a lesson plan you're designing. How can I visualize an activity or an experience for my students? I think that's critical. Oh, sorry. instead of calling ourselves teachers, we're actually learning experience designers. We are to design experiences so that learning is immersive for our students. And it takes a lot of creativity to do that. That would be number one. Number two would be patience. The more technology that we have, the less patience any of us has, and less attention span we all have. So we have to practice breathing, patience, listening, being present in a moment versus being distracted. That's a skill set you have to build. So that would be number two. And the third one I would say would be encouragement. We really are teachers providing information, but our second job is to be encouragers. Yes, you are capable of being able to do this. Yes, I believe that you have the ability to go to the next level. Yes, I believe in you. And you have to believe that as well. But we are encouragers so that young people feel like they are capable and able to do the things that they never, to even exceed your expectations. You have to believe you can.
Okay, thank you so much, Mrs. Smoke. Before we wind up the session, may I request you to take us outside your home so that we
Oh,
would like to
certainly.
see the outside of Kansas.
Absolutely. We'll take you outside here. We'll take you in the backyard. Be a moment. Today is a holiday in the United States, so there's no school today. But in Kansas, we have had some rain. So let me take you outside here. Oh, he already opened the door. Okay. Let me turn the background off so you can actually see
Okay.
background.
Wow.
Okay. So this is my backyard.
Absolutely stunning.
It's not
Stunning.
bad. And then over this way, we've got this bird feeder is for hummingbirds.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then back that way, we have some raised gardens that are back in the corner.
Yes, very
But
great.
yes, it's raining today, so it's quite comfortable out actually.
Yes, thank you so much for giving us a virtual tour of our outside weather. And
My
before we wind up this session, may I request you to give a message to my students and the teachers in my region?
Absolutely. What message would you like?
Yeah, any message that you would like to give.
Okay, I will tell you this. It is a big, beautiful world. And as you explore and discover all the wonders that come with it, keep your eyes open because you just might miss something wonderful if you don't pay attention.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Smoke, for your time.